All right, count me in. Go 5, 4, 3. Wait, let's do it again. Let's start over.
5.
No, never mind. We're not doing it. Hey, everyone. Don't worry. Pelham's going to edit that in post. So, good morning. I was watching the last stream on the channel. You probably were too. I watch it to make sure that Philip has not violated any of the terms of our treaty, but you probably watched it because you were interested in what Beamdog's doing next. So thank you everyone for joining our first Friday. As some of you know or may not know, my name is Nathan Stewart. I'm the Director of Dungeons & Dragons. I have the distinct pleasure of working to help the D&D team and the Avalon Hill team make really cool play experiences for all of you guys, lead some of the marketing efforts, play D&D with cool people, and then once a month do a fireside chat with you guys and talk about some of the stuff kind of driving the business and answer some of your questions. And yeah, so that's today. And as always, thank you for joining. I'm always surprised when people watch, but I'm also pretty flattered. The S in Nathan Stewart is for spoilers and swag. Wow, I am getting a reputation. That's cool, though. I like that. We're going to go with that one. So, first of all, did Philip do or say anything that I need to be aware of this time? Because the last time where he superimposed his face on one of my fireside chats to give some misleading message was kind of bullshit. Okay? And it's not helping his case to get the ban lifted. So, did he do anything? I did figure out the beard was a mimic. It was giving me like a 1d4 damage every day, and I didn't figure it out until I was almost dead. I shave every now and then. I'll tell you guys a personal story, which is I'm not a lazy person by nature. At least I don't think so. I'd like to be more lazy, but I have a 4-year-old daughter, so it kind of stops that. But I'm lazy when it comes to shaving, and so which is why I grow a beard. But then at some point the beard gets kind of too long and unruly because I also don't trim it enough. So then I just take it all off. So you guys will see me beardless, you know, once every 6 to 9 months, and it'll last until I stop shaving again. Mad Hatter 31, you did not miss anything. I'm just doing the warm-up spiel here. So making sure that everyone knows what's going on. Make sure that Lyle4277 gets thanked for subbing. That's awesome. Thank you all for the subs. Appreciate it. I do want to talk a little bit about the subs. I think that I'm gelling on one of the first subscriber-only benefits that we're going to do. And as you guys know, I like to spoil things here, so I did not talk to the team about this. So it's going to be what we like to classically call on the D&D team. They're going to be voluntold. Pelham can actually vouch for me that that is what we do. And by we, I mean me. I will volunteer the team or members to do things, and then I will tell them, "Oh, great, you volunteered." So it's nice. I think it's a team building kind of thing, and plus they have to. So for a subscriber only for our first benefit, I don't know whether we're going to do it in March or April, but I really, really, really want to see like a 3 or 4 hour live stream game that is all Mike and team. I want to see Chris Lindsay. I want to see Jeremy Crawford. I want to see Mike Merrills, Ben Petrosor, Kate Welch. I'm not sure who the mix is going to be, but I want to see some of the folks that are working hard behind the scenes on the rules. Some of the people you're talking to on Twitter, some of the people giving you the sage advice and, you know, talking about elves and Eladrin and all that. But I want to see them. I want to see them doing a live stream for you guys, so you get a flair for how they are as players. I'm not sure who's going to DM it yet. That's the good question. You've got a table full of really good DMs there, so you kind of need a special DM. Maybe I'll make them rotate. Maybe actually one of them will be the DM, but we'll do this quarterly, and every quarter a new person will DM. But yes, Crawford is a player. Definitely Crawford is a player. Perkins is a player, yes. But I think that we're going to make this a subscriber only. And this is not meant to be a punishment for non-subscribers. This isn't something that we're currently doing now. This is something that, you know, like I said, they don't even know about yet. They haven't thought about it yet. So this would be one of those kind of added bonuses that I would make them carve valuable time out of the day and say, hey, let's do something special for the folks that are subscribing on Twitch. We really like the Twitch community that we're building up on the D&D channel. We really like the programming, really like all of our contributors. Danny Hartel stopped by the other day, and she's been having some fun craft hag stuff on our channel. There's you know, our full lineup of people playing that are, I think everyone's kind of going to start coming back for the spring or winter or whatever season we're on soon. But you know, the community's been great, the players have been great, the entertainment's been outstanding. So I'm really excited about that. As someone who does pay, I'd like to support the idea of everyone gets to watch. My younger self wouldn't have been able to afford it. Maybe make the chat subscriber only or something contributing element like naming characters. That's one idea. We're going to probably play around a little bit. We're not going to keep that content like hidden or whatnot. It might be that you know, it goes on YouTube the next day or, you know, a couple days later or whatnot. We might do, you know, chat only on the subscriber stuff, but definitely like the idea of getting the subscribers to be able to have kind of an interaction in there. I think that's one of the reasons that we'd be looking to do it like that. But we'll definitely evaluate. I'll take the words of advice seriously and kind of talk about it in terms of that. But as Joe Hill says, yeah, you know, maybe put the VOD up for everyone, you know, the day later stuff. It definitely wouldn't be like, oh, this is only content. But at the same time, I think that some of the stuff that I see Nerd Poker do for Patreons and stuff like that is definitely cool. You definitely want to do cool new stuff. Element the Fifth just subscribed. Thank you. You're awesome. Dwarf Punter just subscribed. Thank you. By the way, I think I've told you this before, guys, but I always get super excited. I always see you guys subscribing while I'm on First Fridays, and I always get so excited. I'm like, oh my God, they really love me. And then I realize that I do these at the beginning of the month every month, and the beginning of the month is probably when we're most likely to get subscribers. So you probably do really love me, but it might have more to do with that. Okay. Question: what do we want to address first? Pelham, what do you think we want to address first? You think we want to address Greg Tito and his boondoggle trip to Los Angeles?
Let's do that.
So, for those of you who know Greg Tito, if you watch the Dragon Talk or listen to the Dragon Talk podcast with Shelley and Greg, he's our communications guy. But he also he likes to go down to LA and hobnob and get prepared. And a couple of weeks, or I guess last time we did this, I made my little banner, and I thought I was super clever in hiding the June 1st, 2018 date in the banner. And like 5 seconds later, someone posted it. And so for those of you who don't know, June 1st, 2018 is a thing that I've put out there. Greg was down in LA doing some prep work, some scouting, some meeting of the minds, some location stuff, some things. So we got big plans for that day, and he was down there. And I think that with enough cute cat memes, we could probably get him to spill some of that on Dragon Talk. So I'm just going to throw it out there. But we do have a picture of Greg Tito down in LA, looking fabulous with his sunglasses and his hair. Can we put that up there? Yeah, there we go. So there was Greg down in sunny Los Angeles. It was a little smoggy that day, but he definitely still needed the sunglasses. All right, so that was the Greg Tito down in LA. Definitely bug him about what he was doing down there. What else? We usually do giveaways. S is for Stewart, and spoilers and swag. So we're gonna do some swag today. But first, let's answer some questions. So I'm gonna flip over to the Twitter. All right, so my favorite Italian D&D player, Zoltar Sage Advice. Ciao Bella. Hope that everything is going great. Maybe you're watching. Usually you watch me, which I'm super excited about because I think it's kind of late over there. So I wanted to just confirm for you that you are not crazy. That's right, Zoltar. Here you go. Oh, I can't. There. No. Yeah. So if you notice, and he was nice enough to point out, there was, in fact, 2 versions of the Tomb of Annihilation cover that went out. And one of them did, in fact, go out without the red line, which has become a signature in the naming on our tabletop RPG products. And I'd like to say that it was, an error at the printer or a messed up thing and whatnot, but in the file prep and all the stuff, we just, somehow something got dropped, we missed a thing, and we caught it right away. But by right away, I mean there were a lot that went out the door or came off the printing line without it, and then we quickly changed it in there. So they're both floating around. But we do enough reprints on these now that it was just the first print. But that's a lot. So yeah, if you've got one with the red shard, you know that there was quite a few people who picked up their copy of Tomb of Annihilation before you, even if you thought you were first. And then if you got the one with the line, without the line, you were the pre-order crowd. So that happened. That's a thing. I thought it was funny. I thought it was funny that that Zoltar was one of the first ones to bring it up to me a while ago. Greg Marks, also known as @Scarrett7H3Green. I have no idea if I'm Scarrett the Green. Oh, maybe that's the Green. Asked cool ideas for community development and way we can bring more new and younger players into D&D. I got to be honest with you, Greg. That's the challenge we're trying to figure out every single day. We have a lot of fans out there who are telling me that they're starting to DM for younger players, like 10, 12, 8, kind of range. But I think the bigger answer to the question kind of lies in all of the entertainment and licensing stuff that we do around the brand. I think the tabletop RPG is fantastic, and depending on a kid's developmental cycle, they can be ready anywhere from 5 to 8 to 10 to 12 to kind of come in. But we always still run into the same challenges with playing tabletop D&D, which is it's long. It takes a long time. You got to do a lot of prep. You got to have the time around the table and do all that. So I think that's great for some younger players and some new players in there. But I think that also us, and by us I mean Wizards or the D&D team, either creating or working with more people to create some lighter experiences. And lighter might not mean like less rules, or lighter might not mean like less D&D. It might just mean shorter. Might mean easier to jump in and have a game. I challenge Mike and the design team all the time. I'm like, give me Dungeons and Dragons that you can play at a bar. And not because I'm a giant drinker, because again, I've got a 4-year-old, which means my drinking is limited to never, because whenever I get any free time, I'd rather sleep or rest or read. But the bar is it's a watering hole, right? The bar is a loud place with friends, with non-players, non-friends, limited space. How do you have a D&D experience in that? How do you make something that's fun that if you and your friends is a mixed group, right? It's guys, gals, it's slightly different age group. Maybe you're younger because you're still able to go out to the bar. How do you play D&D there? And not play D&D, because that's a misnomer, but how do you play a D&D experience there that's fulfilling, that gives you the same kind of stuff, that when you're thinking back on it, you have the same experience you would at the tabletop, which is you and your friends have done something heroic and probably lived by the skin of your teeth to defeat the dragon and get the loot and share the story. So that's an ongoing question. So we have ideas, Greg. We're trying to figure that out. I think for kind of community development stuff, I think that DM's Guild will tackle some of that stuff. People will start making some modules and adventures that are kind of younger and better for a broader audience. It's no secret that I like Alpha Stream's Adamantine Chef module. As a matter of fact, I think Kate Welch is running that at Emerald City Comic-Con this weekend. But one of the reasons why I like that one is because it's really combat light. And as a matter of fact, you can strip out a lot of the combat and make the combat super non-lethal very easily in there. And so I think that having adventures and content that is very heavy on RP or puzzles or just crazy creative stuff, I think is another way too. The other thing that I think is a good way that we can bring in more and new and young players is things like D&D Beyond. You know, I've made my character with my wife or for my wife, or she made her character, and I was kind of encouraging her to do it along the way. But having D&D Beyond, kind of this step-by-step process in creating your character, and having things like the traits and feats and backgrounds and flaws and ideals. That was great for her because, I mean, she read every spell. She made a wizard and she's like reading through every spell. I'm like, no, you just pick this, this, and this. And she's like, no, I want to know what this does. I want to know what this does. So it helped her to play it her way or to get into it her way. And I'll give you an interesting factoid about the way my wife and I play games. So we've both played Skyrim quite a bit. She logged in a ton of hours. I've logged in a ton of hours. The difference is I think she spent like 5 hours like making her character in the beginning, and I think I spent like 5 minutes, in terms of this stuff, because some of it you're making the choice ahead of time, and then some of it, are kind of right in that early tutorial level, and I'm just like, no, you just breeze through it. She's like, whoa, these are big decisions, and then I'm watching her play. And the amount of care she took in terms of which items she was taking from where and bringing them back to her house and putting them in there. And I don't want to say decorating because it was more like curating. And also she was like super nice to her, what was her, Lydia? Was that the Jarl's name? She was like super nice to Lydia. And I'm just like, oh, she's like, where's your Lydia? And I'm like, I don't know. I lost her someplace. Like, I assume she's going to make it back. But we just had very different ways we played and cared about that stuff. So I think when you have something like D&D Beyond, it takes out the barrier of, of entry in terms of we have to, know this whole book or read this whole book. But then the other thing it does is it surfaces a lot of the details up there that if you don't care about them, you can skip right through them. And if you do care about them, you can quickly dig in. And so a different type of player or a new player can have a lot of fun with that. Pelham, did you say that I can give these away?
You can give them away.
Does anyone know what these are? Are these new? What are these? These are
not available yet. You've got the information on the...
Not available yet. So look at that little guy right there. So this is a Loot Crate collectible, right? This is a collectible that Loot Crate has made specifically for their next crate. And if you order by 9 p.m. Pacific time, March 19th, you can get the crate that has the dice holder in it. Although a couple of you guys won't need to do that because of the fact that I'm going to give a couple of these away. But I will say if you go to lootcrate.com/D&D and order, you can put in Dragon, you get 10% off on your Loot Crate. Oh, look at that cleft chin. That's awesome. Oh, hey, little dragon dude. You're awesome. No, you're awesome, Nathan. I just assumed that's what he would say. You guys can get these. It looks like I have 6 here, so let's give 3 away right now through the raffle.
All right, raffle's open.
Raffle is open. Ladies and gentlemen, please enter the raffle now. Oh, God damn it, I didn't get to read any of the comments before because now everyone's going in the raffle. Oh well. Was there any good comments from up above that I need to address? Pelham, that will be one of your goals, is to look at that. Closing the raffle shortly. Okay, and we're going to have 3 winners. Okay, what else? Let me pop over back to the Twitter questions and see. Avalon Hill Games asked, how about zombies? However, I think that's Shelly, and I think she was trying to plant something, so we're not going to answer that one. Okay. Joshua Fritz at Athen Untapped. I love reading the names. Have you considered doing the adventures published for 5e with sort of a deluxe edition that could come with things like tactical maps, Maybe since the Tomb of Annihilation, you've started a thing with dice. That's a great idea, Joshua. And I got to be honest, we have thought a lot about it. We are going to do some things in that space soon. They take a lot longer than one would think. As soon as you put dice, and then lots of things in Deluxe need to be done in China. And it's a little funny because it goes against what you would normally think of. So normally I think of a book like this, and this being paper, and this being something that, no problem. This one you don't gain that much time, you don't gain that much savings on the cost savings by doing it in China versus the United States. So lots of these ones we do in the United States because we save a bunch of time. But on certain things, the bigger it gets, and depending on how many hand touches things you have to put on it, some things that I wouldn't think would have to go to China because they're paper do because of the size or the intricate nature of it. And so, like, I've learned that if we're wrapping something that's rather large, in this case, maybe there's a box or the, kind of deluxe edition, the thing you might do, the size of it might go that you have to make it in China to make sure you can keep your costs in check on that because of the complexity of it. So we're definitely thinking about all that stuff. It's in the mix. We got a bunch of ideas. You're going to see a few things come later this year on it. I'm not going to spoil the what and the when and the where yet, but I probably will spoil it. Probably in the May Fireside Chat would be kind of when I would tell you more about that stuff. Okay. I'm going to look. Does D&D Beyond have a feature where you can create an image of your characters similar in the way Skyrim has character creation? That's a cool idea. I don't know. I'm going to ask them. They're going to be in here next week. We talk to them all the time, but about 2 or 3 times a year, we like to sit down and confab for a few days. And so the crew's going to be in here next week. And we have put off some of the kind of cosmetic discussions because they're working on some other big dev initiatives that I think some of you guys know about, but I'm not sure if what they've talked about, so I'm going to wait maybe till they get on Dragon Talk and stuff to talk about that. But the short answer is I will talk to them, and I definitely think that it'd be cool to have stuff like that. So we will see. Okay, we are all winners listening to Nathan. I like that. I like you. You guys are really nice to me. I always appreciate the fans and the communities. I even don't mind the Redneck DM and other people who bug me every time about Spelljammer. There's no Spelljammer coming soon. It's not happening soon. I'm sorry. I've apologized like so many times. But with that said, if you are a fan of other settings and some of the different stuff you're asking for, we are super close to sharing some new interesting stuff with you. I promise you, it's coming. One of the other ones, Whereas, gets asked a lot on his channel. He plans for Spanish distribution in Mexico, LATAM. So the Gale Force 9 partner translation has been out for a while in Spain, but shipping and import make it expensive. That's totally true, and we are looking to fix this as fast as we can. We had an option in place. It fell through. It set us back in terms of paperwork on this, but I promise you we understand the problem. We do not want you to pay for shipping and import fees that make the books crazy expensive. We will be getting Spanish localized version in your hands as soon as we possibly can for very fair market prices and not be penalized for only being 1,000 miles away from Wizards of the Coast and instead of 5,000. But I promise you, it's coming soon, and we will make sure that the cost is appropriate. And then with that being said, I also want you guys to understand that we live in America. Spanish is a very common language in America. I lived a long time in Southern California. I lived with my Mexican aunt and uncle, and we spoke Spanish in the house well, he spoke Spanish in the house. We got yelled at Spanish in the house. But the fact of the matter is, there's a bunch of folks who Spanish is their first chosen language, both in the United States, in and around the world. And so we want you to have your chosen version. We don't want you to have to use the English versions if you don't want. Maybe you read a little slower in English. Maybe you don't enjoy reading in English more. Maybe when you're sharing the books, you've got half the people at your table who do and don't. So we get that. We're working on it, I promise. We will do the best that we can to get it there as quick as we can, and I know it's been slow, and I appreciate your patience. Jason Weitzel, at Thanks Jason, says, Nathan, you probably don't want to discuss licensing again, but I was curious where the comic book license stands. Is it still with IDW? I haven't seen any new books in a while, even after the new setting books. Jason, good news. Yes, there is cool new books in the works. Bad news. I don't know when they are going to get talked about, but I do know that IDW still has a license with us. They've been great to work with, and they have something really cool in the works. And I just got to talk to Hillary and find out when it's going to get announced. I might just share this one on my Twitter. So if you guys don't follow me on Twitter, you should. And I will either spread or share this news as soon as humanly possible because it's that cool. But definitely coming. Also, on licensing, inside the crate today, I have some cool first off the line licensing merch that I want to share. But first, I want to answer one question that came up in the Twitter. And it is Adam Holcomb. And his question or comment was the Red War. And Greg Mark said, not sure the Red War is really on Nathan Stewart's radar. He's got much bigger fish to batter and fry. So I'm just going to put up a graphic on the Twitter. I don't know anything about the Red War. That's not my area of expertise. So sorry, Adam and Greg, if there's stuff going on in the Adventures League that is crazy and deadly, and that I'm not up on it. But good luck, guys. Okay, let's. All right, I'm going to take a quick second here. Let me switch back over to the chat. Ooh, any plans to release anything D&D related on game consoles beyond Neverwinter? Basic Standard, you're funny. I like you because I don't know if you guys all know my background, but I've worked in video games almost my entire career. I guess video game publishing to be more specific, and so I have almost always been putting games on consoles, and this is the first time that I've had a lot more games that aren't on consoles than are. So I will tell you that is a first love of mine, and I'm really good friends with all the folks over at Xbox. And I play in a monthly, it used to be a monthly game with a bunch of old Xbox folks. Then, since we've all scattered around the earth, gone to different companies, and so now our Xbox poker group now gets together 2 to 3 times a year, and this is good. I mean, we had a phase where we dropped out. 2 to 3 times a year, and it's not really Xbox anymore. I think there's still 2 or 3 people in the group Xbox. We've got a Nintendo person in there. We've got people who just left gaming entirely. We've got me, and at the last one after the thing, I was talking to one of the guys, and they're like, Nathan, we got to talk about what's in the plans for D&D and consoles, and I was like, yeah, no, we got stuff to share, we got things to talk. But I will tell you, like I always say about the video game stuff, video games and television and movies take a really long time, and so we got a lot of things we're working on, and poker's in the fire on there. But I'll tell you that I own a handful of Xboxes. I've got at least 3 that are hooked up and live in my house. I've got 2 PlayStations hooked up. I've got a bunch on my wall that I just collect PlayStations. And then if you saw my wall in my office, you'll see a wall full of Splinter Cell and Xbox and Halo and Madden and NCAA football and Galaga and all the stuff that I've worked on in the past. So that's near and dear to my heart. So don't worry. We're working on cool stuff. Super TD question. I think I might have asked this last month, but have you considered using consistent thumbnails for different series? Yes, we totally have, and I promise you it's coming. I will tell you that I want to transition to something that's a little more kind of serious and somber for a second, and that is Trevor Kidd, who many of you guys know. He's been a big part of the D&D community for a long time. Worked at Wizards for quite a number of years. Has worked on D&D for at least the last 7 or 8 years. His last day was Wednesday. He is going on to do some more creative and personal stuff, and I think I saw a picture of him posted yesterday where he was, when we were all at work, he was hanging out on his couch with his dogs, so I'm a little jealous, but he's not on the team anymore, and we're sad to have him go, but we're really excited for whatever he's going to do in the future, because he's still a big part of our community and a family member, and we love him very much. But with his departure, it has left a little bit of a hole in some of our staffing and some of our focus on the different communities. And we do think of YouTube and Twitch and all the different platforms more as kind of different, community hubs rather than, video platforms or whatnot. And so I did see that idea. We've got a laundry list of things that we want to clean up on some areas, especially with our video stuff. And when we get some solutions in place for how we're going to handle the hole that Trevor's left, then those things will be on that list. We have some things in play, but it's too early to kind of talk about it. But Pelham has been filling in. We did hire another local contractor who has maybe been in for 2 or 3 weeks to help with some of the stuff going on. But we're really busy right now working on things, and his absence does leave a hole that we will not get to filling for a little bit. So definitely on the radar. Mug 4 coming up in a minute or so. Is there a camera on the other side? Son of a bitch. Something like Divinity Original Sin, but for D&D and the Switch. The Switch. I gotta get a Switch. I don't have a Switch yet. Everyone else has a Switch. I saw WotC had an opening for a project manager. Any chance that will be for the D&D team? What did I say? Did I use bad language?
I didn't catch it.
Oboe. What's going on? So don't worry. Palin will edit out my bad language in in post. He totally does that. I'm so sorry. I didn't know. Yeah. Okay. So what are we doing? Am I getting cut off? Okay, so WotC opening project manager. That is absolutely D&D project manager opening. Mike Merrill's tweeted that out. That is 100% on my team. We lost a project manager on the team. That one, she had a little guy. We like to call him Rocket. She was calling him Rocket, Baby Rocket, when he was still being developed, but he does have a real name, but I will refuse to call him by his real name. So Baby Rocket has hired her to be his chief of staff, I say. So she opted not to come back to the team right now and instead hang out with Baby Rocket. So that did open up a position on our team, and it is a sorely missed hole there. We do have some internal project managers filling in and helping on the team. We did hire a contract project manager to help us in the meantime. So that one's left a little bit less of a big giant gaping hole than Trevor leaving, but still needs to be filled. And yes, that is for us. And Factor Blank said they applied. Boom. Okay. Who on the D&D team is going to Origins this summer? That is a really good question, and I might know. Does Pelham know? He put his hands up in disbelief. Okay, that relates to another question, which is, hey guys, which cons are going to be at? So we've been having some trouble finalizing our list, and it's pretty late in the year to not have your list final, so we apologize on that. But this is what I know. I know that GaryCon is next week, and I know that GaryCon is going to be fun, and there's going to be some D&D folks there. I will have to double check and see who for sure, but I know Mike Merrills and Chris Lindsay will be there for sure. And I know they're running cool content. I know they're playing in different games. I know that they're going to be swagged up. So anyone going to GaryCon, then definitely look for those guys. And then Origins for sure. So I will tell you this: probably two of our biggest events that we're going to do this year are going to be Origins and Twitchcon. So for those of you who don't know, Twitchcon is October 26th in San Jose, California. And we are going to, I probably got the date wrong. But the San Jose TwitchCon announcement just came out this week, so whatever their announcement is, that's the right thing. But we're definitely going to have a big presence there. We're definitely going to have a big presence at Origins. And then we're still trying to fill in what the other ones are going to be. I would say that if those of you who haven't gone to Alex's Gamehole Con, we'll probably have a big presence there in terms of number of people we're sending and how much kind of content we're doing. So look for that. But in terms of Origins, I'm not sure who we're sending. I would just say expect that we were probably sending 2, 3, 4, key personnel there. Chris Lindsay for sure. Mike Merrill's a big maybe. Jeremy Crawford a big maybe. Chris Perkins a big maybe. But definitely, some folks from the design team to go out and play some D&D, and definitely doing cool content at Origins. The timing of Origins works really well for us because, as I mentioned before, we've got a June 1st event that will probably tell you lots of cool stuff about the rest of the year, which means that then Origins kind of opens up and lets us do some early preview material there because the news is already out. So Origins definitely put on your list. GaryCon Grail Night said there'll be a GaryCon next year. I think we will too. I think we love GaryCon. It's a fun place. And then, in case you missed it, TwitchCon 2018, San Jose at the Convention Center, October 26th to the 28th. And then for those of you who don't know, I used to live in San Jose because I worked at Bandai Namco for a bit and lived in San Jose. So I'm extremely excited to go and do some TwitchCon stuff. Because I've got some friends and places that I'd like to visit when in San Jose. So I'm trying to kind of finalize right now, definitely some kind of pub crawl or something where we're going to be doing some unofficial D&D community stuff there leading up into a round. But expect us to have a big presence. We are talking to our friends over at Twitch weekly. We've been talking about TwitchCon in some form or fashion for a long time, and now we're ready to have a much bigger presence this year. So those are the ones that I would say that you can plan on, and then we'll kind of backfill and fill you in on what other opportunities there are. One of the questions we got was about doing some kind of smaller, kind of what I'll call friendly local game store visits in different places outside the cons. I thought that was a good idea, so we might look into some opportunities like that. There's definitely some other cons and events that we'll have some form of the team there. Emerald City Comic Con is going on right now in Seattle, which is obviously where I live. So I did want to show you guys a couple of things in this box, but I'll start with that. I don't know if you guys can see that. That is a fun pin. That is made by our friends over at Han Cholo Jewelry. So this is a Emerald City Comic Con exclusive, and that's going on. So we definitely, as we're doing the events and the shows, we like to make sure that we're giving you guys opportunities to celebrate and fan stuff. I'll give you guys a couple others. Oh, hey, Ellen, look at you. Do me a favor, hold this up. Oh, you're just going to zoom in on it? Okay, so check this one out. This is another Han Cholo. So I don't know if you guys can see the detail on that, but that's pretty cool. We've got a Dungeons and Dragons, and that has the Dungeon Master one up top. Those are pretty cool pins. Stay there on me, Pelham. This one I love. I don't know if I trust a mind flare being that close to my brain, but you know, to each their own. So this is a necklace, cool one with an elithid and a D20 and its tentacles, and it's cool. So the Han Cholo stuff is a lot of fun. I like what they're doing. Nice to have fans making jewelry and accessories. You can zoom out. I'll show one of my other favorite ones that we've made lately. What? Come on. Coolest Hawaiian shirt ever, right? So that is being made. I wish I would write notes down on this. I forgot who's making this one, but I will tell you that I think that this is going to be, the Hawaiian shirt's going to be up on Think Geek. So that's some pretty cool merch stuff. Nice. All right. I like it. Okay. Who Frog, you can get that shirt on Think Geek. I just don't know when. I think it's going to be soon. But going back to the other thing that you can get soon, let's do one more giveaway, Pelham, in terms of let's get rid of the other 3 of our Loot Crates collectibles here. This is the little dragon die keeper, the red dragon die keeper. And this, again, if you're not a Loot Crate subscriber, you can subscribe to Loot Crate, and as long as you've ordered by 9 p.m. Pacific on March 19th, you can get the crate with the dice holder. And if you use code DRAGON, just one word DRAGON, you get 10% off. And again, lootcrate.com/DND to subscribe. But we right now are going to give away 3 more, so this will be the final 3 on these. And then if you weren't one of those 6 folks and you want the red Dragon Die Keeper, then you gotta subscribe to the Loot Crate. But I will tell you that Loot Crate has been fun to work with, and a lot of our partners that we're making merch for either is loosely related to Loot Crate or doing different Loot Crate stuff. So I imagine we'll keep doing fun stuff with them. We've done another fun statue with them. They're good proper geeks. We like working with them. So if you're not checking out the Loot Crate, if you're not a subscriber already, and you're not popping on there and looking what they're putting out there every now and then, and you love D&D, you should definitely check it out because they do cool stuff with us. Hillary's got a lot of design options in the pipe. The Hawaiian shirt is just perfect. I think it's absolutely perfect. And yes, I also will be wearing it to the next Hawaiian day or Hawaiian shirt day at work. That's awesome. And then the Han Cholo jewelry stuff, there's actually quite a bit out there. There's rings, there's bracelets, there's pendants, there's necklace, there's pins. So if you haven't checked out the Han Cholo jewelry, you definitely should do that. What else? Next stream is Tales from Candlekeep, maybe. I don't know. It's a good question. I will defer to Obo. The Gary Gygax Hawaiian t-shirt. Okay, what else? Are there any, what are the other big questions we haven't gotten to? What? That one. All right. Yes. Okay, so we got about 12 minutes. I think you're closing the raffle there, so I'm going to pop over to the Twitter. D&D promotions in Canada. Any chance you can send at Chris Perkins D&D home to us for the weekend? By home, do you mean Nova Scotia? Oh, shit balls. Oh, sorry, Lauren. Oh, now I broke it. Do we need to do another mic check? Yeah, can people hear me? Okay, so Jennifer B., also known as Artist Jen B., the possibility of more T4AL content. It's sad getting a love character to T4 and having almost nothing to do with it. I hear you. I totally hear you. I don't have that problem. I don't think that I have a character that high. But I know that a lot of you guys do. And all I can say is I'm sorry that you get there and there's not a lot of stuff. Mike Merrills and I have had long conversations about this lately. Chris Lindsay, Mike Merrills and I understand there's stuff that we have put in play now and in the works to address that. I will tell you that it's probably not going to be out there as quick as you would like, and I do apologize for that, but your greater concerns have been heard, and we do have some cool stuff in play to address the T4 content. So just mark your calendar that on March 2nd, Nathan said, we hear you, it's in the works, it's going to be cool, and then when it happens, you know, hopefully you just think it's as cool as I do, and if not, then you are welcome to yell at me. Okay, what other things should we talk about? Is there anything that's popped up in the chat, Pelham, that you think is something that I would love to talk about but haven't?
I've got from Zeke the Rooster, can Stream of Annihilation be an annual event, please?
No, Stream of Annihilation cannot be an annual event because the Stream of Annihilation was related to the Sphere of Annihilation, which was related to the Tomb of Horrors, which was related to our Tomb of Annihilation adventure. So that was very bespoke. However, I have mentioned that there is a June 1st event this year, and I don't want to say that it might be a stream of something, but it might be a stream. So we can definitely consider that. I will put that in the good idea hopper. And then random AK, where are your glasses? My glasses are in the box. There. No, we cannot talk about Mordekainen's content, or as Pelham likes to call him, Morty. But that's a good one for Jeremy on Sage Advice. Also, if you guys are not watching the Todd videos releasing content on that, you totally should. I think the Eladrin video was the latest one to go up, and I think that's a pretty cool talk with Jeremy, talking about the backstory of elves and the Eladrin and how that all goes. So that stuff is that stuff's out there and cool. Random AK, what is your favorite character you run? I think I've been pretty open that I play a pastry chef. So he's pretty awesome. His name is Ganache. Maybe I'll actually make Pelham put up his D&D Beyond character sheet for you guys next time so you can see him. But he's definitely my go-to character. Although last time I got to play, I played a Kenku artificer, and his nickname is Poe. Not at all from Edgar Allan Poe, no, definitely not. But he was a lot of fun. But I'd never played that build. Obviously, it's a UA build. It's not the final stuff yet, and so there's some tweaking and stuff to be made. And I will say that I like to be a support player, and I like to do some RP in the RPG, and I don't have to always destroy stuff or do much damage and everything. I'm okay with that. So it was a lot of fun playing a character who I thought his main goal was just to kind of support. I made him a little bit of a healer artificer, so I was kind of a cleric of the party a little bit, because the only other cleric in the party was a blood domain cleric, and I was a little worried that maybe he didn't have quite the healing power. So I went that route, and I had fun playing him, and it definitely added to the storytelling of the adventure. I think I had some really bad rolls that made it a lot of fun, but I'm going to develop him. So he's at 3rd level now, and I'll probably play and get him up until I can get a mechanical servant, and then we'll see if I kind of jump around. But if I just play my go-to character, it's a elf pastry chef. I'm running 30 hours of a game there. Let's see if he's level 4 now. Oh, I never play clerics, so I definitely wouldn't have an answer to that. I would say that if you have a question about especially leveling, I would hit Chris Lindsay, Jeremy Crawford, or Mike Merrills. They're the ones that I usually go for. And yes, the food and beverage industry love. So Stabby Rogue Games, I like that name. That's definitely my style too. Yeah, for those of you who don't know, I like to cook. I was growing up in a kitchen. I've worked in restaurants a ton when I was young. My godmother actually was a semi-famous chef in the region. She had a restaurant that was a destination for a lot of people called the Ark. And so I worked at the Ark a lot and worked in the kitchen. And her partner, Nancy Main, was the pastry chef, the baker side of it. And so I spent a lot of time in the kitchen and bakery. And so I just thought it was fun to pull some of the things that I love from growing up and using it, just so I can kind of embody the character a little bit more. But I've got really fond memories when I was like 8 years old of making bear claws in the bakery at the restaurant. And so I thought it was fun. Okay, what else? Who else is going to GaryCon? I don't know. Actually, I do know a couple people going to GaryCon, but I think I have to keep that under wraps for now. But I will share as soon as I can. We got about 5 minutes left. So let us do this. Let's now ask for one last round of questions, and then also let you guys know that you can, if you do like a hashtag D&D Fireside and put your questions in there and aim at me at Twitter, I'll definitely answer those or try and kind of steer my talks around those next Fireside chat. And then also you can hit me on Facebook and I'll answer questions. I like making fun of Greg Tito. I like photoshopping Greg Tito into funny situations, so if you want more of that, I can help there. Oh, there we go. That was good work. I should show you some of my backlist stuff. I put them on The Bachelor. I thought that one was particularly good. Yeah, pretty much. I like to hang out here and talk with you guys so that we can address real issues too. I know I goof around and get around stuff and spoil stuff and play as well. But I do like the platform so that I make sure that I'm never too far away from what's going on. So if you have concerns or things that you want to bring up here too, you can direct message me and we can talk about that. I'll be very upfront and forthright whenever I can about what we're doing to address things in the community if there are things going on. I'm super proud of the D&D community. I think you guys are awesome, especially as communities go. We do talk to a lot of other heads of game communities and look at what's going on out there. And I think you guys are really welcoming. I think that, questions like, hey, what should I do at level 4 for my Arcana Cleric? That's great because usually everyone's going to jump in and give you great answers. When you go on Reddit, I see so much like, hey, we recommend this, try this, do this, which I think is super positive and powerful. So, one of the reasons that I even can come on and have the time to, come on and do the fireside chats like this is because you guys as a community are so cool that I don't have to put out many fires. In D&D, we get to focus on making fun, cool entertainment, and new products, and work with licensing partners to make even more new products. And so it's really a great spot. But if you do have real things you want me to talk about, or if you do have things that need to get brought up in the bigger community, I'm listening. Mike's listening. Jeremy, Pelham, Greg, Bart. So we're really listening as much as we can. We maybe don't always answer everything on a one-to-one basis, but we try to aggregate questions if it's a bigger theme and answer those questions as well. But I will take like 2 more questions. Do we have 2 more questions? And again, don't ask me the rule stuff or class or build stuff because I'm not going to be the best one to answer those. So it's more like definitely marketing stuff, definitely convention stuff is fine. Definitely what are you doing with D&D, open positions, stuff like that's fine. Any final questions? Will Xanathar's Guide to Everything become AL legal soon? That's a Chris Lindsay question. Era Groth, can we have Dragonlance? You make me like have Danny make us a Dragonlance and like raffle that away at a. I don't know if she actually can because only certain people are allowed to make Dragonlances, right? I mean that's like everyone can't make a Dragonlance. Manual Plans, Cartoon Season 2. Question: are you ever planning on hoining in on a Twitch game? Does that mean joining on a Twitch game, or does that mean hosting a Twitch game? So, Random AK, let's refine your question. Let me know. Do you mean hosting a Twitch game or jumping in on someone else's? Huh?
Joining.
Joining? Yeah, I'll join I'll I'll join a Twitch game. Would you guys want me to join someone's that's already going on? Who do you want me to join? You guys throw it out there. You guys recommend a game, and I'll see if the powers that be can get me on there. Believe it or not, I do have a little bit of sway when it comes to weaseling my way into a game. Okay. Maps, printing is a pain. Dragonlance campaign, yes. Ciao, Nathan. Zoltar here. Will there be gadgets for Mordecai? T-shirts, shirts, hats, cloaks? That is a Greg Tito question. Greg Tito, believe it or not, is our guy in charge of purchasing swag. I just tell him make cool swag, and then he does it. Question, ever going to have the Robot Chicken guys do another game? Maybe. That was before my time, so I'll definitely ask about it. I know that we've got a couple of friends over at Robot Chicken still, so that's cool. Yes, Perkins would kill me if I'm not going there. Swagmeister. Don't get a big head on him. All right. You guys are awesome. You guys are super nice and giving me the easiest questions on the plan. I didn't answer any of your questions there because you guys are trying to get me to talk about future crazy new stuff that I'm not going to spoil yet. So I will just say, Zoltar, you're not crazy. There were 2 versions of the Tomb of Annihilation. Everyone who got a Red Dragon Die Keeper, someone will contact you there via the Twitch thing. Keep an eye out for your messages in Twitch, and we'll get those sent out to you as soon as we can. Thank you for the patience. If it's ever a delay, we try to get them out as quick as possible, but sometimes there's a slight delay. More info on the Hawaiian shirt coming soon. And yes, I'm definitely going to crash the Mike Merrill's Happy Fun Hour soon because it really bugs me that I let him be on my show, but he doesn't let me be on his show. So that's going to happen soon. And then also, if you guys are into magic as well, Elaine Chase is jealous of Mike Merrill's Happy Fun Hour, and she says that that her and I need to tag team and do the Happier Funner Hour. And I said, Elaine, let's do this. Let's do that mashup. So if you guys want to see that happen, let me know. And other than that, happy March. Have an awesome Friday. And can't wait till Mordekainen's Tome of Foes hits the shelf so you guys can all get to enjoy it. But in the meantime, check out all the videos that Todd is going to do with the team to share more spoilers for you there. And with that, we will count out 5, 4, 3, 2,